And we're really excited to see your presentation, but we're just going to go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves really quickly before you start. So I'll pass it off to Dennis.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I'm a product designer based in London. So I work both the American and the Israel team. And so I'm looking forward to hear your presentation. I'll pass to Rana.
Hi, I'm Rana, front-end developer in Pendle. I'm waiting for a senior designer to come and join us.
Day, Javier. I'm leading the engineering team responsible for Copilot project, which we're interviewing for. Good luck. Your presentation.
Hi, Miki Sapir, product, leading product efforts in Israel, based in Herzliya, doing both Copilot and mobile.
I'm Nicole. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. I oversee this project as well as some other areas in product and design. So thank you for taking the time.
All right. Wow. Everybody was super efficient. Adi, everybody's really excited. You want to kick it off and start?
Yeah, sure. And my first slide is actually the presentation of self-presentation, so it's good. Aligned with this meeting. Alright, so I will share my screen. Just a second. Let me set everything up. Why it happened like this? Just a second. Alright. So great. So hi everyone. As you all know, my name is Adi, and I'm a senior product designer. I'm from Tel Aviv. I have around 10 years of experience, and the first half of my career in the field of design, I worked for agencies, which I think is it's the best educational for user experience. It's a great opportunity to get my hands dirty. The variety of projects I worked on was amazing, super fascinating, and I basically experience every type of project, if it's mobile screen, desktop screen, other systems. I did interfaces for banks, the Israeli Navy, insurance companies, a cool startup, Internet of Things, satellite, content website, you name it. At some point I started to realize that the projects are not innovative enough anymore, and I understood that it is because of UX maturity. A lot of companies started to open their own studio in-house and stopped working with agencies. But the more important factor for me that made me make the transition from agencies to product companies was that I felt the project ends in the middle. Like, we don't have the full cycle of designing, testing, going live, validating with customers, doing iterations and cycle after cycle. And I do think that a project should be as agile as they can and to begin with the most valuable product. So I started working in product companies. Some additional nuggets about myself. I like history. I'm a foodie, but of junk food. I like basketball, and like everyone, movies and TV shows. Although I have two daughters, the younger one is just born, so I don't have time. Okay, so today I work in Optimove. This is my current employer, and it's in the field of marketing, Martech, and I am a part of a team of 3 designers. We report to a design lead, and we all belong to the product department. The project I'm gonna present today is how we introduced a new paradigm for the way that our users working on templates that belong to campaigns. I will explain in a second what does it mean. Before that, brief background on Optimove. So, Optimove is a marketing automation tool, and what it does for the problem it solves for customers. for our clients or users is to match the correct message of campaigns to the correct person in the correct time, and it's something that is relatively hard to do at scale. So imagine you are entitled for today for 5 different campaigns. Birthday, end of March, you like blue jeans, etc. We don't want to bombard you with tons of emails and push SMS and notifications, so our system knows how to send you the correct one. It's called multi-channel orchestration, and it actually optimizes for the customer lifetime value. This is how it selects the best communication for the day. It does it by 2 pillars we have. First one, we collect ton of data points on each customer, and we can run predictive models and understand the behavior and see how similar customers behave. And the second one is our marketing hub. We have like a series of native channels. Our users go live with templates, campaigns, and this is the marketing plan. All right, so how the business, this mission was born. In the past year, Optimove lost a lot of sales cycles to their competitors. And this project actually began when Optimove purchased a vendor of mobile channels. The business goal of this project was to increase the win rate, or this whole initiative of purchasing additional channels to extend our offering. And the strategy was by positioning Optimove as leading marketing automation tool. So we also wanted to add native channels that come with several capabilities, and also to offer some additional features that our prospects were asking to. And also by suggesting this suite of channels, we can extend our clients run omni-channels campaigns, which is known in the industry as more converting. A secondary goal of this project was to address repeating sentiment in sales cycles that our system looks a bit complicated or not user-friendly. All right. Before that, I want to review the old design. This was the old situation. So this screen is called Manage Templates, and all the channels are inside of it. It has 2 parts. The first part is this is the tree view, and on the main area there is the working place where the template tab opens. So as a user, I find the folders I want to open, I find the template, and then it opens on this area, and I can work on. In order to change the view of the tree between the channels or the brands, and in some cases we have clients that have different types of messages, like schedule versus triggers versus transactional. So we need to set the drop-downs to the desired location, and this tree view updates. So as I said, when I click on a template, it opens in the main area. And in order to edit the metadata of the template, I open a panel from here, from this caret, and I can edit the details. Interesting thing is that we saw that almost in every session, users immediately expand this panel, work on it, and minimize it. And if the user wants to focus on the content, he have full screen mode. All right, so I was part of a team that consisted 2 product managers, developers from template team, developers from mail team, and developers of the acquired mobile channels vendor. In addition, the team included the QA and product marketing manager. The UX goal was to add the channels in a seamless way, so we'll have an Optimove unified experience. And as I said before, improve usability by reducing the frictions that we will find in the product. So I started working on the first editor. What you see in front of you is the editor of mobile push notifications. And as I said in the slide earlier, the goal was to improve sales, but I wanted to do much more, not only to add the features, but actually to help the users to improve their performance, or to come to a place that I will say, hey, this is cool. And to be honest, the design is so didn't provide this goal I set to myself, I wasn't happy from the design. It didn't work. The result was not flattering to any one of the channels. I kind of struggled to find one solution that will fit all channels with this design pattern, and couldn't find anything that will work because every channel has different characteristics. If you think about it, SMS is only a text field, while email is like a full-blown editor. So, in addition, we already struggled with adding new features to this design. Features we tried to add was also to cater prospect requests or to solve pains, and also part of future investment that I will talk about briefly later on. So, I had an idea, and it was to go big or go home. Usually, I do believe that we should dance with the system. Sometimes it doesn't work. In this case, I felt that a better change is required. If the editors does not work in current pattern, let's change the pattern to one that will work. And the idea was to actually separate the experience into two screens. One screen for the templates and second for the editors. So each channel will get the best editing experience. The problem is that no product managers will give me carte blanche to just fulfill my fantasies because resources are limited. So I had to show the product managers that the users as a real problem that will also contribute to the business goal of increasing the win rate. My hypothesis was that the prospect feel that something is off and they just cannot articulate it. But if we will reduce the number of frictions and offer accelerators that will improve performance, it will help also not our existing users to have improved or enhanced experience, but also the sales demo will be more impressive. So my hypothesis was that there is a correlation between the sentiment expressed by prospects and our users. So we engage in discovery process. In order to frame the problem, we talked to stakeholders inside the Optimove. We watched some sales demos and talked to sales engineers that faced all the issues with sales prospects. We had a workshop of design thinking with customer success personnel. And in addition, we talked to the users. We conducted interviews, observations, and watched full story sessions. Full story like record sessions of users, like Crazy Egg, and I think that also like Pendo. In addition, we run a competitor analysis and heuristic analysis of our product. Before I will dive into the pains, I want to talk briefly about our users that's relevant to templates. So the title of the role is CRM manager or marketeer. And actually, although they create the templates in Optimove, the templates belong to campaigns, and the campaigns are pre-planned in a meeting called a marketing plan or strategy meeting, etc. This is like a meeting that takes place for each of our clients for once a week, twice a week, once a month, and they plan the next period of time with all campaigns, all segments, everything. And the outcome of this marketing plan is actually briefs for each campaign. The campaign includes offering, copy, all the images needed, target audience, how they will be measured, etc. Usually this brief is in Jira or Google Docs or Asana, something which is either dedicated for this kind of briefs or very flexible that can meet their needs. Last thing I want to focus on regarding our users is Optimove is a complex system. And I cannot say that there is one type of marketing team. Each team is different. Each company can vary in the terms of team size, roles and responsibility. For example, one client of us will be one-man show. In others, there will be one that manages the templates, one that create the templates, and third one that doing the proofreading. Also, the volume of templates change between each one of our clients. It can be 5, 20, 80. The sky is the limit. Regarding the use cases in this screen, there are 3 different families of use cases. The first one is content creation and editing. So the users can create new template, you can edit existing template, and you can do quick update, like change the subject line, edit UTM parameters, let's say change the date or the value of a promotion. Second part is proofreading. You need to QA the templates to make sure it looks good on all devices, on all screens, and to make sure that the dynamic content like personalization tag, like my first name or balance if this is a bank, if I'm a customer of a bank, that the balance is not faulty. We need to make sure that it holds, and no typos, of course. And the last one is to organize the structure of the library. I want to focus on one of task analysis of the main use case. So interesting thing is that we found that the most frequent way to create new template is not by creating from scratch, is actually by duplicating existing one. So in order to do it, first, the user needs to find the template he wants to duplicate. Second, you need to actually duplicate it and move it to the new location that he wants. Then you edit the metadata, update subject line, preview text, UTM parameters, and then you do the actually editing of the content, which is usually either uploading new images or a series of copy-paste from the brief into our template. Then he runs proofreading by test or preview or whatever, and you need to repeat this process for the number of templates that is on the agenda for this day. So, the outcome of our discovery research and framing of the problem consisted of a few parts, a few pain points. First of all, the main problem is that we had one screen that tried to do two things and it didn't did any one of them good enough. It was hard to find and identify a template because the only detail you had for templates was the template name. It was part of a long list that consisted both folders and templates, and there was not much difference between them. In order to find a template, either you could remember its location or start search and remember the template name, or rely on naming convention like type of campaign, channel, dates, audience, etc. The effort cost is too high, and it caused two things. First one was trial and error pattern. So in order to find the desired template, user had to open several templates. Another pain points we found is that the actions on templates was not prominent enough, and we didn't have the option to make one bulk actions. So if I said that they have 5 templates, they had to do it one by one. Instead of duplicating one template 5 times, move all of them to one place and then do the editing. Next step was exploration. So the solution we wanted to think about is how might we allow users to quickly find their templates, identify the correct one without opening several templates, and also making the content editing experience more immersive. So as I said before, the idea was to separate one screen into 2 parts, one for the templates management and one to have full screen for the editors that will better utilize the screen real estate. So the first part of our exploration was about the information architecture and actually how to allow easy navigation. We had 3 different entities or level of information. First one is a channel, second one is brand, and third one, which is not always the case, is the template type. So if before you had like to make kind of a setting in order to navigate to a place, we wanted to be more prominent because recognize is better than recall. The first concept that you see here is called the Miller's columns, and actually on the side of where the tree should be, we have list with all the channels. Once I click on a channel, I see the relevant tree, and I can go back. This pattern is familiar from mobile phones like iOS, that you move back and forth and back. Another concept we examined for the information architecture was, first one was to use the main navigation of the platform and to just write the channel's name out there. As I said, recognize is better than recall, and if I'm making a SMS template, I know it in advance, so I'm looking for the word SMS. And another option was just to show all the channels in a neat way in one place. Eventually, we chose this concept, and I will walk you through it quickly. So the main idea was to separate the tree from the content of it. Each folder will show its content inside the main area. So now the sidebar is dedicated only for the folders, and then I say what's inside of it. Oops. Second benefit of this concept was to show much more meaningful data points on each template. If before we had only template name, now we have a preview, template name, tagging, preview of the subject line when it was used, and in how many campaigns it appears. So, in order to test it with users, we did a quick design, created a high fidelity mockup, and did usability test with users. The main conclusion we found in the usability test was that users found this part of folders that appears both in main area and in the side are a bit confusing, and we found additional more design issues. Now regarding the final design, this is the design. As I showed before, we have on the side the folders according to the channel that I navigated to from the main navigation. And once I'm inside the template called Special Promotion, I see the 5 templates that inside of it. I can also sort and create new. And we said before that the start point for each template is not actually a new template, but this button, duplicate. So in order to increase efficiency, we extracted it out of the more actions button. In addition, we also added this button that have more actions, and if I said before that not all of the users, I will phrase it differently, not every use case require the user to open a template. If I want to do a test for proofreading, which is in some cases the default role, I can do it directly from here without opening a template. This channel is in-app notification, and the preview is a bit different. And channels like, in this case SMS, the preview is redundant because it looks the same. So we actually show the content of the template inside of the lobby. In addition, we added the batch action, so now I can duplicate, in this case, 3 templates at once, or send tests in one action, and accelerate my workflow. And we also introduced enhanced search experience. And now I can filter the search results by template name, subject line, folder name, type, and there is also a plan to add the content. So let's imagine that I'm looking for a template that includes the word GPT inside of it, and it's not part of the template name. I can search by subject line, and then I will find it easily. Something that was not, I wasn't able to do it in the previous design. Another accelerator is to edit the template name or subject line directly from the lobby, because there are some cases of small updates. Now, regarding the templates, we found 2 different families. One is what you see is what you get, which require much more design capabilities. This is the email editor, and we added here like side rail that I can move between the panels. If I want to edit the subject line or metadata, I just go to this tab. This is the in-app editor, similar concept. And the second family is of form-based, like SMS or push notifications that all the user needs is to fill in some fields. So this is the web push, the previous one was in-app push. And now this is an interesting story. We talked about a business goal of increasing the win rate. We had sales cycles with a company called MyHeritage from Israel. I don't know if you're familiar with. And the requirement is to translate every piece of campaigns to 40 languages. It was like prerequisite, like a make or break for the deal. We made a commitment to add this capability to our templates. And due to this new concept, it was relatively easy to design the panel that managed the syncing with the translation platform. Okay, this was the design. I need 2 more minutes for a retrospective. In terms of result, the average number of page views per template during 30 days decreased from 7.9 to 5.4, around 30% success. And the hypothesis is that it reflects less redundant templates opening. I can do some of the actions from the lobby. I don't need to adapt error entirely in order to find templates. Another thing is that we saw that the campaigns that use more than one channel for our clients, the average uplift was 37%, and this is the reason that they are clients of Optimove for business success. In addition, we got some qualitative feedbacks that were kind of happy, and as I talked before, we had a win rate with MyHeritage, which is kind of neat because usually it's hard to say, okay, we moved the needle due to this small feature. In this case, it's very significant that it helped. Lessons I learned or stuff I would have done differently is better plan the soft launch. Let's say have like a toggle for move to see the new managed templates experience and allow users to go back. Release in small batches for customers and improve how we collect feedback. And also invest more in contextual inquiry and to see more how their working day looks like. And the stuff I enjoyed the most in this campaign is change of the information architecture. I believe that most of the cases this is where a good experience lies in. And also I talked in the first few slides about new paradigm, so kind of working with the new ecosystem and utilizing it for the languages, for other capabilities, and looks like all the ideas like sits good in the concept. I really enjoyed it, and that's it. This is a different project. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I talked too fast. Usually I speak slow, but I had the time deadline.
It was very comprehensive, yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. I was curious if you could show some of we have 1 minute, but if you could show me back to your hi-fi, your final designs, like where did you break from the pattern from the design system? And then I'm curious how the design team incorporated your changes. So which part was broken from the design system?
I actually didn't break the design system.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were going to.
No, paradigm.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
okay. I understand now.
No,
All right.
I think that if I would have broke the design system, it was more appealing, even more.
Oh. All right. Thanks. Well, I think you have does anyone else have a question for a minute, or we can hold it for when you have your one-on-ones with Adi?
I will wait for my one-on-one.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Thank you, Adi. Great job. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Everybody will see you later.
See you on
Bye.
the other side. Thanks.
Bye.
אהלן,
היי, מה נשמע?
לקח לנו איזה דקה לעשות את המעבר.
לא, הכל... ארי ורענן, נכון?
נכון מאוד.
נעים מאוד. נראה לי אתם הסשן היחיד בעברית
נכון.
ביום המרוכז הזה.
אני אומר שגם אנחנו הכי נחמדים.
לא נכון. לא נכון.
מי הכי נחמד?
אנחנו הכי נחמדים בבית.
לא, בעברית כן, אבל
נו, אז
לא יותר נחמדה מאיתך.
לא חמודה, יש לה אנרגיה שזה כמו קפצון.
קפצונים לגמרי.
לאורה זאת המעצבת שלקחה פיקוד?
כן, כן.
כן, כן. אבל לא היה לי להם להגיד לכם שהיא נראית הכי נחמדה.
לא, היא לא ספקת על נחמדה ממני, זה פעם שאלה.
יש לה אנרגיה פסיכית.
כן.
איך אתה חושב שהלך לך המצגת?
רצה מהר,
מהמם.
אז לא היה לי אפילו זמן להקל, לרוב לוקח לי יותר זמן מחצי שעה, וגם זה לא היה חצי שעה נטו.
מהמם.
מישהו זרק גריי ג'וב, אני מקווה שזה לא נימוס אמריקאי, אלא פידבק אותנטי.
אז מי שזרק לך את זה, זה ישראלי שגר הרבה מאוד שנים בלונדון. הוא אמר very comprehensive.
כן, נכון.
כן, כן, זה מיקי, מי שמוביל את הפרודקט, אבל קפצתי לשאלות
לא, הכל טוב.
ואם אתה רוצה, אז נציג את עצמנו קצת יותר בסופו של דבר.
כן.
אז עובדים על, בעצם רענן ואני עובדים על אותו פרויקט, רענן יציג את עצמו, אז אני מי שמוביל בעצם את הפרויקט ברמה האינג'ינירית, מעבר לעובדה הזאת שאני גם אחראי על רוב קבוצת הפיתוח של בעצם בפנדו בישראל. נסעו 3 ילדים, גר בכפר סבא, אני אוהב לעשות ספורט.
איזה ספורט?
הוא המנהל שלי, אני גר בהרצליה, 3 ילדים, ואני שונא לעשות ספורט. אבל לא, כן, אבל זה בראש.
אני עם 2 ילדים, ואני עושה ספורט כחייב, אבל מעדיף לראות.
איזה ספורט אתה אוהב לראות?
כדורסל. בעיקר, לא רואים אני גבוה, אבל כן.
מצוין, אז רק כדי לחדד בעצם, החלק הזה בתהליך המיון הוא יותר הקשר בין דיזיין לאינג'ינירינג, מעבר לעובדה שאתה יכול אחר כך לשאול, אנחנו נשאיר לפחות 10 דקות מהזמן, נשתמש ברבע שעה, נשאיר לך 10 דקות, ואנחנו, אם אחר כך אין לך שאלות, אז כמובן אתה תרגיש בנוח לפנות אלינו.
בטח.
אני אשמח לדעת איך, בעצם אני לא זוכר כמה זמן אתה כבר באופטימוב.
כמעט 3 שנים.
מה גורם לך כרגע, אני מכיר דברים טובים על אופטימוב, אפילו יש פה חבר'ה שעברו לאופטימוב.
דניאל.
נכון מאוד.
אז הכל דיסקרטי כמובן.
כמובן.
אני אצחיר. הפיתוח באופטימוב מאוד צמח בשנה-שנתיים האחרונות. נגיד הפרויקט הזה זה דוגמה אליו. והמחלקת פרודקט שינתה את המבנה שלה כדי להתאים לאזורים של ה-R&D. ועברנו למבנה של פודים. לפני זה נגעתי בפרויקטים מכל הסוגים, והיה לי כזה מעניין. הפרויקט שהראיתי היה פרויקט אסטרטגי מאוד גדול. ובגלל מערכת יחסים מאוד טובה שפיתחתי גם עם הפרודקט וגם עם המפתחים, אז נשארתי בפוד הזה. אבל אני מרגיש שמבחינת האימפקט שלי וההשפעה והמטלות שאני עובד עליהן, זה פחות משפיע, פחות קרוב לרודמאפ ופחות אסטרטגי, כי הדבר האסטרטגי קרה. עכשיו זה להוסיף פיצ'ר, להוסיף ערוץ, וקוראים עוד דברים מעניינים בחברה. אני מאוד מתעניין בדאטאוויז, אז בעיקר עניין. דאטה ויזואליזיישן.
סבבה. כן, אתגר גדול.
כן.
מה גורם לך דווקא לבוא לפנדו? או בעצם להתמיין לתוך תהליך?
אני ממש שמח שאמרתי דאטה ויזואליזיישן. קודם כל האנליטיק שלנו זה פנדו, אז אני עובד איתו, חוויה סליקית. כאילו כיף לעבוד עם המוצר. אהבה שלי לסטטיסטיקות או ויזואליזציות של מידע, כשהמטרה היא בעצם לעשות, האג'נדה האישית שלי לגבי דשבורדים ודאטה ויזואליזיישן זה איך להציף אינסייט. דאטה לשם דאטה זה טוב ויפה, אבל הוא צריך גם להניע לפעולה. ואם אנחנו יודעים לא רק להראות לך בקלות איפה שוכב, איפה החמאה מרוחה, אלא ממש לעשות לך פוש, ולא רק שאתה תדע לקבל שאלות לתשובות שידעת לשאול, אלא שאנחנו נדע להציף לך דברים מעניינים, זה קצת הגביע הקדוש בעיניי, וזה דברים שמעניינים אותי לעשות. לא בטוח שזה חלק מהמוצר, אבל תמיד יש לי אג'נדה כזאת איך לעזור דאטה לספר יותר סיפור ולהניע לפעולה.
אז זה משהו שחסר היום בפנדו. אינסייטס, כלומר, פנדו יודעת להציג דאטה מהמון סוגים ודאטה טוב, אבל היא גורמת ללקוחות שלה לעבוד קשה.
לא,
ושם
כן.
זה חלק מהדברים שהדיזיינר שיעבוד עם צוות הפיתוח בעצם הולך להתעסק. אנחנו בעצם עובדים על פרויקט חדש, שהוא ה-revenue stream החדש של פנדו, אנחנו מאוד מתרגשים לעבוד עליו, ורוצים כמובן לראות איך אנשים יגיבו לדבר הזה, אז...
כן. מעבר לזה שאני רואה בעצמי ויז'נרי שיודע לראות קונספטים גדולים וגם לפרוק אותם לשלבים מעשיים. אז אני מקווה שזה עונה לשאלה.
כן. אני אשאל שאלה, אז יש בין follow-up questions. איך אתה עובד כרגע עם גוף הפיתוח, כלומר מבחינת התהליך?
אוקיי.
תהליך עבודה.
זה מין high-level כזה, לרוב אני מספר בכלל על תהליך עבודה ואיך הפרודקט מנג'ר משתלב בו. אז אני אנסה להיות קוהרנטי כמה שאפשר. בגדול, תמיד יש לי צ'מפיון בפיתוח. מישהו לבוא אליו ולשאול שאלות על פיזביליות, לדעת איך זה עובד ואיך זה בכלל אפשרי במאמץ, לפעמים גם לקבל רעיונות. כרגע בקבוצה שלנו יש איזה 4-5 צוותי פיתוח, אז יש לי כמה צ'מפיונים. בגדול אני תמיד בשיתוף פעולה מאוד הדוק עם הפרודקט מנג'ר. אנחנו עושים ביחד את כל הדיסקאברי, מין מפלצת דו-ראשית כזאת. שיש לה היכרות מאוד טובה ללקוח מראש. ואנחנו כן שואפים, לפחות ביוזביליטי, שיבוא מפתח, כדי שבאמת תראה מעבר לקוד, למה הוא עושה את הדברים שהוא עושה. איזה כאבים הלקוחות שלו פוגשים. מין אינגייג'מנט והבנה. עוד דבר זה שלרוב מפתחים עם אנשים חכמים, יוצא שאני חנפן, אבל יש אינטראקט.
אבל זה בסדר, זה בסדר.
רצו לקבל רעיונות מאנשים טובים. אני לא רואה את התפקיד שלי כזה שהוא אחראי על הרעיונות הטובים, אלא אחראי על לנווט את השיח, ככה שגם מפתח יכול להציע פתרונות מאוד טובים וגם נעשה אותם. בחברה הקודמת באוטודסק, אחד הפרויקטי הדגל שעבדתי עליהם זה באמת הקונספט של מפתח. אז מקבלים את זה. בעבודה היומיומית, נגיד יש פרויקט, אז אנחנו כן עושים, אני והפרודקט מנג'ר, את הדיסקאברי ומדברים על הביזנס גולס ומחפשים פתרונות. שלב הפתרונות זה השלב שבו אני כבר אדבר עם הצ'מפיון בוודאות אם לא דיברתי איתו קודם. וכחלק מהיתרונות חסרונות או הטרייד אוף של כל אחד מהקונספטים שאני מציע, אני גם משקלל את הפידבק שלו, את האינפוט שלו. חוזר לפרודקט מנג'ר, מגבשים משהו, ואז עושים קיק-אוף עם הפיתוח, מציגים את הקונספט, קודם זה למה אנחנו עושים את זה, מה אנחנו רוצים להשיג, מה האוטפוט. ולרוב אני מציג משהו שהוא יותר מ-MVP, כן משהו חזוני. ביחד אנחנו מפרקים את זה לשלבים, כדי להבין מה יהיה הכי נוח לפיתוח. אני כמובן איפה החוויה תהיה מספיק בלט איך למשתמש. וביחד עם הפרודקט מנג'ר אנחנו תופרים את זה. מתחיל הפיתוח, אני בדרך כלל כן אוהב להיעזר לרוב אנשי QA מאוד טובים בזה, למצוא מצבי קצה. לדעת מה עוד אני צריך לפתור בקונספט, מה קורה כשזה, מה קורה כשזה, לראות שזה מחזיק מים. ואז מתחיל הפיתוח, מן הסתם אני בכל הדיילי סטנדאפ. אחד מהמפתחים של הפרונט-אנד אומר, הוספתי את הכפתור הזה, אני מבקש לראות. לפעמים הוא לא יכול להראות ואנחנו מחכים שבאמת כל הפיצ'ר יהיה מוכן. אבל השאיפה היא לא לתת הערות על CSS issues או התנהגות כשהפיצ'ר מוכן, אלא על הדרך. ברור שזה קצת wishful thinking ותמיד יש גם וגם, אבל זאת השאיפה. על הדרך עולות שאלות, אני משתדל לתת SLA של יום לצוותים שעובדים בארץ. לא, SLA בין שני לרביעי סבבה, אבל שישי, חמישי קצת יותר קשה. זהו. בעיקר תקשורת, אין באמת קסם, זה תקשורת אדוקה.
א', כולם אצלנו אלופים, אבל זה לא קשור. באמת. הקורות חיים שלך, פעם
כן.
ראשונה שאני רואה כאלה. למה?
מעצב.
המסמך, כאילו, המסמך הוובי במונוספייס, זה,
הוא
מאיפה
במונוספייס?
הרעיון?
עשיתי תחקיר. אוקיי, מעצב, פונה לקהל יעד, צריך להבין, רוצה לבלוט. All of the above.
אוקיי.
איזה פידבק קיבלת עליו עד עכשיו?
על הקורות חיים?
כן.
אנחנו מדברים על זה עם הריבוע בפינה השמאל למעלה, נכון?
על זה שכתוב בשחור לבן שנראה כמו דוס.
לא, זה לא הקורות חיים שלי.
שנייה. זה מה שנייה.
יכול להיות...
לא.
הנה, אני
זה
אציג.
קורות-
אני אציג.
זה קורות חיים
אבל
ברזומה.
לאור מה שאתה אומר, אני שמח שעברתי את המשוכה של הקורות חיים.
כן, מה אנחנו רואים?
שנייה.
את זה אתם רואים? זה לא מונוספייס.
לא, זה לחלוטין...
בוא תסתכל מה אנחנו רואים,
זה
ואז תבין למה זה
לחלוטין,
תפס אותנו.
לא, זה.
או,
לא, אני...
אתם אהבתם.
אז אתה מבין שזה סטנד אאוט.
כן, אולי אני אשנה.
לא,
מעניין.
לא, זה מדבר לפיתוח.
זה מדבר על פיתוח, חבל הזמן, כאילו, כן?
א', כן, ב', אני מאוד אוהב מונוספייס. יש אצלנו הרבה אטריביוטס ודאטה אבי, ואני מנסה להכניס שזה יהיה מונוספייס. או משהו שונה מהפונט הרץ הרגיל שלנו.
אז אני לא יודע למה זה הגיע אלינו בפורמט, אבל...
מעניין.
ללא ספק גרם לי לקרוא עד הסוף,
זה אינסייט, תסתכל איך...
זה שונה, זה ללא ספק שונה.
האם אי פעם היה לך קונפליקט עם פיתוח?
כן.
תספר לנו עליו?
בטח. זרקתי מקודם שהיה... קונפליקט זה מילה גדולה, קודם כל.
יש הרבה רמות של קונפליקט, מ-1 עד 10, אם היינו רוצים להגדיר, אבל אתה יודע, קונפליקט זה חוסר הסכמה ובסוף...
disagreeing commit. אז מה שציינתי מקודם, שזה היה פרויקט הדגל באותו דסק, בעצם עבדתי שם על אוטוקאד, ובסייט בארץ עבדנו על אוטוקאד מובייל. אוטוקאד, אם אתם מכירים, אז הדבר הכי חשוב זה דיוק. גם להכניס מידה מדויקת של קיר או whatever, וגם להיות מסוגל לנוץ בדיוק בפיקסל שאני רוצה. נגיד בשפיץ של המעוין האדום מאחורי אריה. שתי דברים שמאוד קשה לעשות כשאין לך עכבר ומקלדת, ויש לך אצבע שמנה שמסתירה את המסך. חלק מהאיטרציות של הפתרון, הבנו שיש בהם נקודה טנטטיבית, כלומר גם אחרי שאתה מזיז, אתה עדיין רוצה לעשות פיצוי או טיוב של נקודה שסימנת. ואז היה לנו כמה רעיונות. היה קונספט שאני האמנתי בו, היה קונספט שאחד המפתחים הציע, שהיה בעצם להפוך את המסך של הטאבלט או של הטלפון לטרקפד ענק. אתה מזיז את האצבע על המסך, הסמן זז, אתה עושה טאפ, לא משנה איפה, והנקודה נרכשת, כמו קליק ועכבר. ועשינו יוזביליטי, כי לא יכולנו להסכים בינינו, גם מצוות פיתוח, ורצינו לראות מה המשתמשים עושים. והיה טקו, מבחינת מספר טעויות ואחוז השלמת משימות. אבל הסביעות רצון של המשתמשים בקונספט השני הייתה טיפה גבוהה יותר. החלטנו ללכת אליו, וזה היה כאילו מקור הקונפליקט. מאותו רגע מה שעשיתי, הסיבה שלא אהבתי את הקונספט הזה, זה ראיתי קצת שמשתמשים מנחשים מה לעשות. חזרתי שוב פעם על כל הוידאוים שהקלטנו של יוזביליטי, ראיתי למה זה קורה, הבנתי שחסר להם הדרכה ופידבק של מה קורה, למה המערכת מצפה מבחינת אינפוט. אם עכשיו תזיז, אם עכשיו תעשה טאפ. הוספנו אותם, השקנו, המשכנו לעבוד על הפיצ'ר של דיוק, הוספנו עוד מקלדת ועוד כל מיני דברים. וזהו.
מה גרם לך בעצם ללכת על... לבדוק את שתי האופציות? כלומר, אני מבין את הקונפליקט. הקונפליקט זה, אתה בא עם רעיון אחד, אני שנייה פשוט חוזר כדי לחדד את השאלה. אז אתה חשבת על רעיון אחד, בא מפתח חשב על רעיון אחר, על פניו היית יכול להגיד לו, תודה רבה, אבל אני מחליט, ובסוף כן בחרת לבדוק את הגישה שלו. מה גרם לך?
אני הבנתי את הרציונל של הגישה. אתה יודע, גם אתה קיבלת את התמצית של האפיק, אבל אני מכיר אותו טוב, ניהלנו הרבה שיחות. היו עוד כל מיני גורמים שקצת קשה להסביר כרוחב יריעה קצר, כל מיני מגבלות טכניות וקונבנציות של הפלטפורמות, בעיקר טאץ'. אז הבנתי מאיפה זה בא, לא פסלתי. חוץ מזה, כמו שאמרתי, אני לא חושב שאני הקומישיונר של הרעיונות הטובים. או בשפת רחוב, הניחוש שלי טוב כמו הניחוש שלך. כשקשה לנו להגדיר מה יענה יותר טוב על הדרישות של המשימה, מהפרודקט, צריך לדעתי להריץ איזושהי בדיקה. הרבה פעמים היתרונות והחסרונות זה, אם נעשה ככה זה ייתן מענה לזה, ואם נעשה ככה זה ייתן מענה לזה, במקרה הזה לא יכולתי להגיד את זה. עוד סיבה, המדד שלפיו בחנו היו מדדים כמותיים. כלומר, קל לי להשוות את הביצועים, אלא אם כן יוצא טקו, בין שתי הקונספטים. כלומר, היה מדדים ברורים. ומרגע שעשינו כמות מסוימת של בדיקות, אז כן יכולנו לדעת ברמת ודאות לא נמוכה לאן ללכת. אז כמו שציינתי מקודם על הקשר שלי עם פיתוח, הרבה תקשורת, הרבה הבנה, הרבה שאלות. ולהקשיב ולקבל. אני לא רוצה לראות בעצמי ולקחת פתרון לא טוב כי אני חשבתי עליו. אני רוצה להשיג אאוטפוט.
אני חושב לנסח את זה, כי זה המשך תכלס של השאלה הקודמת. זה מקרה קל, כאילו, לא, נלך לזה בדרך אחרת. לא מצליח להפוך את זה למילים, זה באסה? מה יהיה?
הניסוח לא כזה חשוב לי, אני אנסה
לא,
להבין מה
לא,
אתה
זה
שואל.
לא, זה עניין של, לא, אפשר להפוך את זה למילים. המקרה של הטאץ' והנקודה ואיפה רואים את זה, זה קונפליקט ברור, אבל מה אני מחפש? אני מחפש משהו יותר יומיומי. אוקיי, זה מהמילה שלי. כאילו, התנהלות, כאילו, איך ההתנהלות היומיומית? עם מפתחים, כאילו, שלפעמים, כאילו, אפשר, אי אפשר לעשות, זה לא הממשק, זה כן, זה לא הקומפוננטה הנכונה, זה כן הקומפוננטה הנכונה.
אוקיי.
אני חושב
אני חושב שהבנתי את השאלה.
אוקיי.
מה קורה בשוטף? או מיני קונפליקטים בשוטף, או... כי לא הכל אפי אפי ג'וי ג'וי. אני שולח עיצובים, לפעמים תוקפים אותם או מאתגרים, זה עניין של טיעונים. נגיד צ'קבוקס מול טוגל, יש הגדרות, יש סיבות. כשיש דיזיין סיסטם בריאה זה עוד יותר קל, כי יש מתי תשתמש בזה, מתי תשתמש בזה. הרבה פעמים, אני שם שנייה בצד את האפורט ואת הפיזביליות. אני עוד שניה אתייחס אליהם. הרבה פעמים אנחנו עובדים עם... מה זה הרבה פעמים? תמיד אנחנו עובדים עם דרישה מפרודקט. אנחנו עושים דברים כדי להשיג סיבה מסוימת. צריך לדבר מה ישיג את זה. אני כן משקף את השיקולים שלי. הרבה פעמים משכנעים אותי. או שמשהו נראה יותר טוב, או שפספסתי משהו לגיטימי. לגבי פיזביליות או מאמץ, אני מאוד פתוח לזה. אם זה שובר את החוויה, אולי אני יותר אתעקש או ננסה למצוא פתרונות תוקפים. יש פעמים שאנחנו אומרים נעשה את זה בעתיד, בגרסה הבאה, נתחיל ככה ונראה. לפעמים אני מתייעץ עם הפרודקט מנג'ר לראות אם פספסתי פה משהו. יש גם את הסטודיו והמעצבים שאני עובד איתם, מאותה סיבה. אני חושב שבאמת מה שחשוב זה לבוא ולנמק מראש למה עשית את מה שעשית, ואם אפשר גם לשקף את התהליך כדי שיבינו את קבלת ההחלטות. לפעמים יכול להיות שהטעות שלי הייתה בתחילת התרגיל, ואז בואו נשחזר את הצעדים, וזה עוזר לי לקבל את הפתרונות של המפתחים, אם שכנעו אותי ואם לא, אבל שיחה.
נהדר.
עדי,
שאלות שלך.
כן, איך מערכת היחסים בין הפיתוח לפרודקט, למעצבים. עכשיו, לפי מה שהבנתי ממך זה ממכם, זה גם מוצר חדש, אז אם יש לזה השפעה על הסייקלים נקרא לזה, או על הספרינטים, בקיצור, איך אתם עובדים?
איך אנחנו עובדים? ספרינטים של שבועיים, כמו כולם. רבעונים. עכשיו באמת המוצר שאנחנו עובדים עליו כרגע זה, אנחנו חצי שנה לתוכו כבר. אז בהתחלה זה היה, כאילו, בהתחלה זה נפל די על כולם ביחד. בהתחלה לא היה לנו אפילו מוקינג וארד, כאילו זה, במקרה הטוב זה היה משהו משורבט על נייר, וזה התחיל לרוץ. וככל שעובר הזמן ואנחנו מגיעים לריפיימנט יותר ויותר גבוה, זה התחיל מזה, זה עבר לווימסיקלים של אוקיי, אם נצליח ריבוע, שים בריבוע מה שבא לך בערך, והיום אנחנו מגיעים יותר למצבים של, כאילו, מתחילים להגיע לפיגמה, כאילו, ככל שאתה מגיע למשהו יותר
מוחשי.
בוגר, יותר מוחשי, כאילו, הרמה של ה-high fidelity של מה שאנחנו מקבלים, כאילו, זה עדיין איזשהו מרוץ של פרודקט, דיזיינר ופיתוח של מי מקדים את מי, שזה יוצר הרבה מאוד אינטראקציות, שבעיניי הן מאוד מאוד טובות. זאת אומרת, כאילו...
מה רמת המעורבות שלכם בפרויקטים? כאילו עוד לפני הביצוע.
זה תלוי מי ה-PM, זה תלוי מי הדיזיינר, אבל זה באמת בשלבים, כאילו, אחרי שה-PM שובר את הראש קצת עם ה-UI/UX, אנחנו בדרך כלל נכנסים לזה בשלב מאוד מוקדם, באמת בעיקר בקטע של להבין בכלל האם זה פיזבילי, כאילו להגיד, אוקיי, זה נורא יפה מה שנתת, אבל זה ייקח לנו שנתיים, אז אוקיי, בסדר. בואו נחזור שנייה לאיזשהו, נראה איך שוברים את זה אחרת, מורידים קונטנט, מועלים, כאילו, מה אפשר לצמצם, להרחיב, לשנות, אז זה באמת, אנחנו נמצאים שם די, כאילו, פיתוח נמצא שם די מההתחלה, זאת אומרת, וזה באמת עניין של סייקלים, שכאילו, של refinement כל הזמן, שמגיע סטורי שמוכן, מפתחים אותו. בגלל שזה שלב מאוד מוקדם, חלק מהריסרצ' נעשה תוך כדי שכבר על קוד, ולא אפילו על, כאילו, לא על מוקים, אלא על דברים כאלה, אתה מקבל לפעמים פידבקים שמעיפים לך סטורי שכבר רק עכשיו כתבת אותם בכלל, אבל אני מעדיף בשלב הזה, מאשר אחרי שכתבתי קוד ולזרוק את הקוד, אז זה לא פרף. אני מעדיף להיכשל מוקדם, אני מעדיף לא להיכשל, אבל כולנו נכשלים כל הזמן, אז זה בסדר. אז אנחנו מעדיפים לעשות את זה מוקדם, אז בגלל זה אנחנו באמת מעורבים משלב יחסית מוקדם. כדי שכולנו נהיה האבות של הכישלונות, במקומות אחרים.
כמו שרענן אמר, אנחנו בונים בעצם צוות חשיבה, בשלב מאוד מוקדם של הפרויקט. כלומר, יש מפתח שהוא dedicated, אנחנו קוראים לזה epic lead, ולתת תמיכה גם לדיזיין וגם ל-PM, בשלב אפילו ה-ideation, וזה בדרך כלל קורה once יש לנו epic, כלומר, בפרודקט אומר, מה צריכים להשיג, זה כבר השלב שפיתוח מצטרף, הם עובדים בעצם ביחד. אני חושב שתיארת את זה, זה מאוד קרוב לאוטודסק במה שאתה עושה היום באופטימוב. אני חושב שזה קונספט טוב שמוכיח את עצמו מעבר לרמה של להעלות את העניין לפיתוח ולאפשר לאנשים להתפתח, לא רק לקבל high fidelity ולהתחיל לכתוב, זה להיות מאוד מעורבים במוצר ולהתחבר עליו גם ברמה האישית, זה לא קופי קוד.
אני קוף, טוב, לא משנה. עוד שאלות.
כן, לגבי design depths, או איך אנחנו מפלשים את האינטרפייס, כי זה לא תמיד קורה בפעם הראשונה.
זה אף פעם לא קורה בפעם הראשונה. שנייה. לא, קודם כל יש לנו, לשמחתי, כן, הדיזיין, הספריית דיזיין שלנו, הקומפוננטות, נדיר מאוד שאני מתעסק בלכתוב CSS או HTML או קומפוננטה חדשה, יש חלק מאיתנו מאוד אוהבים את זה, אבל זה די נדיר, זאת אומרת, זה לא קורה הרבה. לצערי, לא יודע אם לצערי, זה מעניין. זה לא קורה הרבה, זאת אומרת, הרוב זה בסופו של דבר קומפוננטות שכבר אתה משתמש בהן עוד פעם ועוד פעם ועוד פעם, ורוב העניין זה באמת להבין, אוקיי, מה אני רוצה להציג, איך אני רוצה להציג, איפה אני רוצה להציג, איזה דאטה אני רוצה להציג, מה הפלו לדבר הזה, זה פחות, אוקיי, חסר לך 2 פיקסלים, ימינה, שמאלה, הצבע הוורוד הזה צריך להיות קצת יותר אדום, זה קורה פחות, זה מאוד משמח אותי, כי זה הרבה פחות קונפליקטים שאני פעם לא אוהב. זאת אומרת, את הקונפליקטים האלה, כי לי באופן אישי יש ראייה מזעזעת בפיקסלים, אני נורא מקנא באנשים שיש להם את זה. אבל זה נכנס, זאת אומרת, סתם, לתוך כל ספרינט, ניקח, זה קורה, כן? זאת אומרת, זה קורה שאתה צריך לרווח דברים או להזיז דברים ושהם לא נמצאים בתוך הספרייה בדרך שבה רצית שהם יקרו. אז בכל ספרינט, חוץ מהסטוריז שאנחנו לוקחים איתנו, אנחנו גם מכניסים דיפקטים שאו תוך כדי, כאילו, עם אופק, הדיזיינר שלנו עכשיו, תשמע, רענן, זה צמוד מדי, ואז אני אומר, אז אני מסתכל, כן, אתה צודק, אני לא רואה את זה. אני לא רואה את זה, וברגע שמראה לי את זה, אז אני רואה את זה, אז או ישר על המקום, ולפעמים, אוקיי, לא עכשיו, ואז ייכנס בספרינט הבא. אבל זה ייכנס, אז הם תמיד נכנסים, זה לא הבעיה. אבל זה באמת, אלה הקטנות שבבעיות שלי, הבעיות האלה שלי, הרבה יותר גדולות, זה, אוקיי, אני צריך להפוך לגמרי את המסך הזה, מה שנמצא למטה צריך להיות הפוך, והגרף הזה, הוא לא יכול להיות הגרף הזה, אלא במקום לשים לי טבלה, אבל גם את זה עושים, גם לזה מגיעים, ולפעמים גם דוחים אותם. יש לנו סתם עכשיו גרף נורא יפה, באמת, כאילו סנקי שמציג את הדאטה נורא נורא יפה, ואנחנו נורא נורא מסתבכים איתו, אז אנחנו...
זה מסובך אפילו לקורא, אז ברור.
אבל הוא נורא יפה. כאילו, במצב האידיאלי שהדיזיינר מצייר אותו, שהכל בדיוק בגדלים הנכונים, והכל בסדר, הוא נורא נורא יפה. אני נורא נורא רוצה שזה יהיה שם, ואנחנו לא מצליחים.
כרגע זו טבלה.
אז כרגע זו טבלה, המידע הזה, מציגים אותו בטבלה. שזה פחות
כאילו
יפה.
הפס?
מה?
זה הפס שיש לכם בריפורטס?
לא פס. פה אנחנו מדברים כאילו בתוך קופיילוט, בתוך מה שאנחנו עושים כרגע.
הבנתי.
אתה מעוניין לעשות, יש לך קמפיין, ואתה רוצה להראות איך אתה מגיע לגול, כאילו, איך כל חלק בקמפיין תורם לגול הזה, אז כאילו, זה כמה משפכים שנשפכים לתוך הגול, אז זה נורא יפה, זה באמת נורא יפה ויזואלית, נורא קשה לעשות את זה תכנותית.
יש לי זמן לשאלה האחרונה או ש...
כן.
רוצה שתאחר לחבר'ה הבאים, אז לך על זה.
איך אתם אוהבים לקבל את העיצובים, את המשימות? בעיקר את העיצובים, כי user story זה קל.
אז אני אענה ממש בקצרה. אנחנו, המיינדסט זה הצלחת המוצר. אנחנו לא נעכב, וזה היה בעבר, שלא, זה לא מפונש, זה לא היי פדיליטי, אנחנו לא נוגעים, זה לא. אם אתה צייר על הלוח ואנחנו צריכים לעבוד על זה עוד שנייה, אז נתחיל לעבוד עם מה שיש. זו הגישה שלנו כיום. זה לא שאין לנו פריבילגיה לחכות עוד ספרינט, יש לנו יעדים מאוד ברורים מתי המוצר הזה רוצים להתחיל למכור אותו. מה שיש אנחנו רוצים.
אני אוהב פיגמות.
פיתוח תמיד היה פיגמות. אבל זה לא מונע מאיתנו להתחיל.
אבל אנחנו נעבוד גם מתוך הלוח.
אבל לצרף כאילו לינק ולא לפתוח מיליון סטוריז לכל חתיכת פיצ'ר וזה, וכאילו לדבר על...
לא, ממש לא. פרודקט לא פותחים סטוריז. פרודקט פותחים אפיק. הם לפעמים אפילו לא עוברים על הסטוריז.
הבנתי.
כאילו הם יציגו פיגמה של כמה עמודים, תסתדרו מפה. לא, זה לא ברמה של זה צריך ללכת ימינה, זה לא.
עדי, אתה מאחר לה...
כן, אתה מאחר להבא בתור.
אבל תגיד שזה אני...
תכתבו לנו מסע.
תפיל את זה על רענן הם רגילים.
יאללה,
ביי, היה נעים להכיר.
תודה רבה.
תודה.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't help it. It was so good.
Hello, and Denise. Is it fine by you if I will go for 1 second
Take a
and
break?
grab a...
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, take
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to drink something.
Take your time.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I was like staring at your face though. I was like, is he laughing? Did he see it yet? Did he see it yet? But yeah, I only sent that to you. I was dying. Let's see.
All right.
Hi.
Hola. Wait.
Hola.
Wait, it's not showing. Yeah, all right.
Hi. Cool.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie. So do you have a Figma file ready to show us your screen and show us your Figma files?
I
Walk
cannot
us
show you
through.
Figma. I can show you Adobe XD.
Pardon?
I can show you Adobe XD,
Oh, was everything you did in Adobe XD?
unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Do you know how to use Figma?
Yes, of course. We
Oh,
just
okay.
purchased an account and we are about to make the transition. But it's like a huge
Mhm.
project and how to do it on the day-to-day job.
Okay.
Between all
Yeah,
other
ki-
tasks. So you
Yeah.
want to see an Adobe XD file?
Yeah.
All right. Of which project?
Either one. I mean, if you want to show your second case study, now's your chance to show us a little bit.
Yeah, we want to see like how your process, how you share things with engineers or other designers, other PMs, you know.
All right.
Um,
I'm trying to think what should I open? All right. I hope it's the correct one. No, this is not the right one. I don't name my layers. That's a problem. No,
You know what? Sorry.
I don't name my layers, so
Oh,
it's usually...
that's fine. That's fine.
But who does? Blah 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 blah. Manage templates. All right.
well, if you don't have anything ready, we can.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay, go.
Open.
Yeah, go.
But you can. What's the compromise?
I mean, we can contribute to questions. That was
Yeah.
compromise.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So we see here a few projects. One is the email editor that was part of the epic I showed before. And then there is the multi-language, which we also talked about. And we have some versions, and this feature is implemented across multi-editors. So let's begin with this one. So first of all is the editor of the channel, and the file is not menu code. I didn't expect it, but still. So this one should be like this. First of all, high level definition of the layout. In this case, this one is fixed width. The width of this panel is fixed, and this one can change according to the screen resolution. And when there are comments or size or stuff that are fixed, I'm just showing them. Stuff that we don't see here is that I talked personally to the development team and the developer and explained him the behavior. And the orange stuff represents sticky or fixed stuff, objects. And this one is scrollable, and I also mark where is it scrollable. And Then I just try to specify all the cases and the full flow, and when I need to mention the margins or stuff like this, I do it. This is how I write down some behaviors or what this thing is.
So I'm not familiar with the XD. Are there any reusable components? Like can you create a design system or something like that?
You can create components and you can create design tokens. The problem with them is, I will show you. For example, let's take a button. It will be easier to show. So I have this button. Not unlike Figma, there are not variables inside. So let's say I have 4 states. I have here different instances: hover, disabled, and default. Now, once I want to change the text on the button, oops, I need to type it. Then I need to go to the different instance and type it again. And as the components are more complicated, it requires more heavy lifting. This is one reason to switch to Figma. I'm not even talking about the fact that they stop investing in the tool. The second one is that one document is all we have. I mean, one file is a document, and it's not very great for collaboration. So on Figma, let's say I'm working on the mail editor. On the side, I have sub-pages. Each page can be a different part of the screen. Maybe I can use each page as a different channel. This is one. Second, if I work on the cloud, I can share it with people, but if they make changes, it's fine. Once I generate a shareable link, I'm the only one that can do it. If someone else will want to share a link, he will have to create another one. So it's like inflating the number of links for development. These are the main issues I have with XD. On the other hand, we have colors. In this case, character style comes also with color. It's a bit limiting, but it's fine. And you can have icons and component. I think the main menu is a component with all the states of it. Yeah. So, but you need to do tons of states instead of having like variables and just say the toggle is on and off and what's the state and size and variants and everything. So this is what I like in Figma. I guess this is what everyone likes on Figma. And the second thing is that it's the best tool in terms of box model, like how you develop the constraint that the code dev are kind of the fans of the tool. It forces you to work as a product designer and not as a graphic designer, which with my skills, it's cool. Do you want me to continue running on the file? Or...
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay as well. Let's pass to the questions. Laura, do you want to start?
All right.
Yeah.
So can I stop sharing? I want to focus.
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Yeah.
I want
Thank
to
you
focus on
for
you.
sharing.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the walkthrough of XD. And I used XD a long time ago. We ended up using Sketch as the main tool at the time. But I know you mentioned having limited resources in your presentation, but what are some strategies do you implement when you run into other design challenges that involve like limited resources or tight deadlines? Like what strategies do you use?
I guess that everyone has limited resources. Like that's a given. I worked in 2 paths. First of all, every project I work on is like I develop a framework of brief, discovery, exploration, and research. I use it in order to form a vision for the project, like not what's gonna be next release, but what's gonna be in 1 year from now. From that vision, I kind of break it into steps. Like what we saw before was not developed at once. It was like a journey. It's my framework. The reason I mentioned it is the end goal of my process is to come with a list of actions and information, and to be able to prioritize them together with the product manager, of course. According to that, it's much easier to do MVP versions. In addition, we don't always know everything. We need to keep a buffer for our error margin, and to have like a plan, B plan, C plan, etc. So my strategy is to know where are the areas of risk, testing as much as I can. Sometimes it's a luxury, but then I rely on past knowledge and experience from other areas of the product. And then I'm very open for breaking it into versions. Like, it's very rare that I work on that my vision, I'm not even recommending to do it at once, because when I worked in agencies, like if I show the concept to a client and they stood up and applaud me, I knew that there is a problem. Once they talk on the details, and then I see they have a real understanding of what I presented. So I guess it's the same. Like, to expect perfect outcome on first shot is no. It's not professional.
Yeah. I'm good. You want to ask the next question?
Yeah, sure. So you showed us like quite a comprehensive two projects. So how did you work with others like engineers, marketing research beyond the product, or did you had opportunity to work with them? I know you mentioned that the resources were limited, but you had the opportunity to work with them, and what was the experience?
I apologize. You said you had an opportunity to? I kind of missed it.
To work with these stakeholders outside product, right? Like engineers
Yeah.
or researchers. Yeah. So can you tell us like what was your experience on that?
Good. No. We don't have researchers. I was the researcher. I'm also leading this effort in Optimove, in the product department. It relies on communication. You need to be able to come to developer, to VP product, to VP customer success, ask them what you want to do or understand. People really like to share their knowledge, so it's an easy one. People want to be heard, let's say it that way. You need to come and ask and form a full picture. Saying that, it's not like I'm taking everything for granted. Let's say the salesperson tells me X, I know that he's biased for the customers, for the prospect or sales ambitions. I hear him. I try to cross-check it with different parts of the research. I try to work closely with the product manager. I think until the exploration, I aim to do everything together, like the discovery, even without a mission. The brief, it's very important for me to understand the business goal and the reason why we want to do it and what's the business point of view. Constraints, of course. With developers, my previous interview, like before this one, was with Ari and Ranan, so I talked about it. Is also to find the champions among the development team, a guy I can come to and ask all the questions.
So in many companies, it's not very horizontal, right? There are lots of like gatekeepers to access. For example, you said VP of marketing or whatever.
Yeah.
How was it in Optimo? Was it,
until 1 year, the VP product, I reported directly to him. Then we added like a design lead, so his door is open. He's still
nice.
My leader, the design lead also report to him, so we can talk to him. We can talk to the CEO. I'm not sure what the question is. Sorry.
No, like I'm just curious if you had an experience that you had to deal with.
I don't want to add that my secrets not secret sauce, but I write everything down. I believe that once you write something, I have like Notion full of information. It kind of settle down. You think about it overnight, you digest it. It's easy to, you want to have a pause between taking the information and really analyzing it or synthesizing it. So once I write everything down, I can come, read everything again, write notes on the paper with pen, the best tool. That's the way my way at least.
So then anytime you had some kind of disagreement with those stakeholders, how did you move forward? Like how did you resolve your disagreements actually?
The magnitude of conflict really changed between stakeholders and my team. I mean, I cannot have a conflict with the salesperson because the interaction between us is not that I don't agree with him, but our interaction is me asking him. I'm trying to learn from him what he thinks and what data point he has. So let's put it aside. If I have a conflict with the product manager or development team, so first of all, I believe that my role as a designer is not to come up with all the great ideas, is to lead the discussion. Everyone can come with great idea of experience. I need to reflect to him the pros and cons and the trade-offs between the solutions. Since we work with brief and we know what we want to achieve, and more important, why, it's really as easy to find a solution. Usually with the product manager, I come with more than one solution, and I do reflect the pros and cons of each concept. So actually, it's not everyone are. All of them are my child. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm not too attached to any one of them. If I have a strong opinion, for example, I worked on a WhatsApp editor, and WhatsApp is a conversation. The conversation is consisted out of messages, and the user can reply and receive another message accordingly. And once we showed the concept, there was an ask to create the possibility to reuse messages from different templates. So I said, cool, no worries. We need a dedicated screen with the list of template messages. He said, why? I don't understand. Just do a list. I said, no, it needs to be a screen. My way to prove him or to explain my point of view was just to draw the flow, to break the analysis into parts. I did it with colors and it was very high level and abstract, and he said, yeah, I agree. But since we are partners and the discovery, there are two reasons I'm doing discovery and the brief from the business part together. First of all, I think that for ideation and mutual fertilization, like two brains is better than one. And second one is for alignment. We have goals. We are not doing stuff just because. The reason why is very important. So every time we don't agree on something or we have different opinions, we go back and think what will meet the needs.
Thank you. That was a good answer. Laura, do you have anything to add?
I thought it was the worst answer. Kidding.
I know, I didn't
great.
like it as well. I didn't like it.
You want to try again? If you didn't like the answer, you can try again.
I just decide no.
I think you both will get along together.
No, I think you and I are really similar in a lot of things. I don't have any other questions, but do you have questions for us with the remaining time we have?
Yeah, of course. First of all,
Yeah.
You're designers, right?
We're both designers, yes.
So this is a two-part question. What do you think about Pendo design, and what do you think is the user's biggest pains, let's say?
That's a good question. I think the Pendo design team is good. We have a design system a really good design system. With the changes around COVID, with like the growth of our team, it shrank, and now it's starting to grow again. But with the shrinking, we lost.
You lost
You
Daniel
know,
Schwartz. He works with me.
pardon? Yeah, it works in your favor, right? But like with the shrinking, we lost like we had a design system lead and a team, but that engineering team is gone. So like maintaining the design system on a component level for the engineers is a little bit difficult to make sure everything is aligned between design and engineers. But our design team is heavily engaged in the design system. We're constantly trying to make improvements and iterate, and that's an ongoing process. We meet every week, like a quick 30-minute Monday morning sync, and then morning for us, afternoon for you. But we'll have a Monday sync, and then we have design crit like 3 times a week at different times to accommodate all the time zones. And then we have a monthly design review where we see everybody's work across the team, and we'll notice like patterns if people are breaking from the pattern, or we can call that out, like, hey, I noticed like you're doing something different than maybe what I'm doing, which happened last month. And we kind of move it to another special area to follow up and discuss, like, should we be changing this pattern moving forward, right? Things like that. I think our design teams is good. Dennis, do you have anything to add to that?
No, this was a good summary. Yeah, we are around 25 designers, like researchers, brand, product design, and I think 15 of us like product design, purely product design.
How many in Israel?
Sorry?
How many in Israel?
You and another
You
person, the only
and
2
another.
right now, gonna be. I work very closely in Israel. I work for a mobile team in Israel, and obviously Laura work very closely with Israel. But yeah, I mean, we got plans to expand as well. So I don't know what's gonna be the future size. But we got so many designers in Sheffield. I think 6 of them. So Israel and Sheffield form the EMEA design team. So that's mainly where you will interact. Yeah. So sorry, I missed it. And I usually ask the customer's biggest pain, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I never been in a company that been like championed customers this much. You're gonna be inside out with. So I guess it depends there.
I know what a lot of the customer pains are.
So Panda is a very big product, right? Like in my opinion, it's a very big product. It's hard to start, so you don't know where to start. You know, like that's one of the biggest pain point, I guess, for our
Easy.
customers.
You tag pages and then features.
Right. Tagging is the biggest pain. Tagging is
Ah,
exactly the biggest pain.
I agree, but
I mean,
it
that's what I
improved.
say it is.
really
Because you
improved.
can't do anything. Huh?
It really improved in the last few months.
Oh, you have to have tagging for if you want data, you need to tag. Tagging takes time. So I worked on the tagging team. So
But it's a prerequisite. It's fine.
yeah. It's just it's hard. It's a difficult. It's improved now.
Yeah.
But tagging features and pages and like for a long time we had to give new customers homework on how to onboard Pendo. So that is like seriously one of the biggest hurdles. But you're not working on tagging.
I'm not?
Yeah.
Oof.
No, you're not going to work on tagging. You're going to work on Copilot, something else, totally different. Very similar to what you presented, the multi-channel stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Why? Do you want to work on tagging?
No, but I have two more questions, and we have only 4 minutes. First one is, does this Copilot involve the data visualization? And
Yes.
second is, all right, so let's put it aside. How do you learn about customers, users, research? How do you know what you know? How do you acquire this knowledge? Just take it wherever you can.
Well, we have a research team. Right now we have a dedicated researcher. But we usually we can do research in several ways. A lot of times, like, for something like tagging, you could interview internal, like pendozers, we call it, like employees who use tagging all the time and have to teach customers so they are connected with the end user and the pain points. And then we also have a community that we can also poll or send out, and reach them. And those are directly to our users. And then we have, right now for Copilot, we have a design partners because it's in beta. So we have design partners that we're showing and then we're testing with them. But there's certain things that we can easily test using user testing. So if you've used user testing, we put out a survey. People see if they're eligible for the survey that the tests that we want them to take, and then they're recorded and they say, like, they speak out loud. So that's just like neutral people, like not Pendo customers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do like our PM, at least for Copilot, did a lot of research about this whole project, and he can tell you more about it.
Do you do observations, like sit with users as they work, or?
Not yet, not for this project.
All right.
Have you done it, Dennis?
We do user tests with our own customers, right? Like obviously, usually researchers recruit like 10 customers, and we can do user testing with them. I did many times, so you wouldn't miss any opportunity to talk to customers in Pendo. That's the reality. But we didn't do like a live observation where like
What is
obviously they're in the
reality?
room
That I will talk or that I won't talk?
They will talk, yeah. We even have a customer group called design partners.
Mm-hmm.
Those people who signed up, they are our customers. They pay for us, but also they sign up to go the length to give us extra information. So
nice. It's funny. It's kind of related to the second question you asked me about stakeholders, because I read today an article about 12 sources of stakeholders interview that you can conduct, or sources of information. So
yeah, we don't do the observation thing where we go to their work and we watch them and take notes.
Mhm.
Like, we don't do those kinds. It's usually, but we do a lot of qualitative, like, feedback and find out. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have any other questions?
About inspiration, or we don't have a lot of time, but I'm really interested with data visualization. How do you find inspiration and come up with ideas to communicate the story you want the data to tell? But it's a
Good.
broad
Everybody's different with data visualization.
Mhm.
For me, it's I mean, everyone's got their own theory. I think a basic chart should, there's always ways to do basic charts. We do have a very strong analytics team, and we have a designer who was a data viz. Is it master? She got her master's in data visualizations. So she is our subject matter expert, and we go to her for a lot. I go to her for a lot. Because I will gladly admit that is not my strength. And so, but we also have pretty robust design pattern for visualizations.
Mhm.
So I'm a big consumer of our design patterns. And if I can get my answer from that, then I see no problem in being able to do building blocks on top of that and convey the same information.
Mhm.
That's my thing. Dennis, I don't know about you.
are you mentioning Molly? Is that our
Yeah, I would say,
design-
Molly's our data viz expert. We're a minute over time. Adi,
Yeah.
do you have another meeting?
I have. Yeah, I need to.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I need to
Okay.
switch. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have a
Good
Thank you so
luck.
much, Adi. Nice meeting you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Hey Sam, how are you?
Hey, Al. Good. How are you? How's your day?
For now, no complaints.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. It's nice to meet you. I'm sorry I couldn't attend your presentation earlier today, but what I did do is make sure to review your really wonderful website and all the video
Oh.
examples you included there. So I want to try and get to know your work that way before this time.
thank you. Actually, I'm working on a new one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, more dense and focused on what I really do, on what I do lately. But thank you, I appreciate the compliment.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to watch the recording of your presentation afterwards, too. I only just got the link 2 minutes ago from Arbel. But
Cheers.
the way that I thought I could structure it today was start with an introduction to myself, what I do on the project that we'd be potentially working together on, kind of introduce you some of the maybe more unique aspects of it, and then of course ask you questions, but leave plenty of time at the end for you to ask me anything you want about me, my role, the project, company, culture, anything. How does that sound?
Sounds good. By the
Okay.
way, I don't have outstop. If you can, I can continue a few minutes later. So
Well, you're assuming that you'll enjoy your time with me and that you want it to go longer. So
I assume that I would like to go longer. I don't know if I will enjoy the time with you.
that's fair.
I hope I will,
Let's start
but I
with,
don't know.
Yeah, let's see. Let's cross our fingers, see what happens. But I'm Sam Fazzari. I'm a principal product manager here at Pendo, and I'm one of the two product managers that are coordinating all of the details of really Pendo's first effort to package up its proprietary machine learning, thanks to all the amazing science and innovation coming out of our wonderful colleagues in the Herzliya office, as well as some unique ways to deliver generative AI on top of the trillions of events that we've been storing from our customers for the last 10 years. It's an interesting project in that, as I mentioned, there's new science that we're coming out with almost every week, if not every sprint. But the standard that we're holding ourselves to is to deliver a consumer-grade experience, because our customers are product managers first, and then we're going after marketers next, neither of which are necessarily very strong in reading or navigating data. So that's kind of the core of our challenge. But given that, I want to hear from you, an introduction to yourself, and maybe, if you don't mind, why you're talking to Pendo in the first place.
Great. So first of all, I'm a Pendo user. So you can
Oh, nice.
also add product designers to the stack of roles. To validate, see what user does, etc.
Mhm.
So you wanted me to tell about myself? And
I would
then
love
why
that,
we're
and then,
having this conversation. Sure.
yeah,
So
that'd be
it's
great.
a bit long. It's gonna be a bit long if it's fine by you. I will
Sure.
talk fast. My journey into the field of product design is a bit unique. I started in content. I studied journalism and I was on-page editor for MSN, where I learned cause and result. So every time we refresh the lineup, after 15 minutes stop, we got into Catalyst to see the traffic, how people respond to my placement, to my content selection, copywriting skills, and image that I chose, and how it leads to action. This is my the first time I experienced something like this. Nice, I saw. Then I managed, after the next role, I managed the dating website in Israel, and the responsibility or the field that I enjoyed the most was UX design. I did UX design for the desktop website. For mobile, back then it was WAP technology, if you remember. And IVR, which is interactive voice response. So it's a dating service, and people go live, talk. The business model is by minute. And the at Twilio, we work
Sure.
with Twilio.
Mhm. I worked there.
Nice. It's our email and SMS aggregator. Anyway, so at that point, I decided this is what I want to do when I will be grown up. But I also felt that I'm missing the fundamentals of being very methodological about my work and research. The way I define my profession is not as a designer, it's as a researcher. there is a reason why I do what I do. Like every feature has a reason and has a process. So I wanted to learn the basics. I started working in agency called NGSoft, where I was missing the word. I experienced any kind of project, exposed to every time.
Exposed.
Yeah. B2B, B2C, B2B2C, large screens, big screens. I once designed the cockpit, any type of domains, systems for the Israeli Navy, banks, insurance companies, Internet of Things, content website, you name it. Pharmaceutical companies. Then I moved to another company, another agency. I was leading the research and forming the concept of insurance company that wanted to disrupt the field of insurance. I was part of 4 UX designers and 8 UI designers. And then I saw 2 things. First one, the projects in agencies are not as innovative as they were, because as the UX field became more mature, a lot of companies started to form their own studios. This is first thing, lack of innovation. Second is, as a principal product manager, you will relate to it. I felt that projects ended in the middle. I mean, you do the concept, you do the design, the project ends, you don't meet it anymore, and it's not a healthy process. You want to go live, you want to begin with the MVP, not with full-blown solution. You want to iterate, you want to test with users, you want to understand what's missing, go for the next phase, etc., validate, etc., etc., etc. I don't really think that part and aspect. So I moved to product companies. The first one was Autodesk. Okay, you're familiar with them, great.
And I saw your work on the website. I thought that was fascinating.
So
use case for iPad. Yeah.
Thanks. So I worked for AutoCAD mobile, as you mentioned. The main challenge was to solve the interaction model, as you saw in my project. I did it. And
okay. Nice.
I didn't it wasn't me alone, of course, but still. Then after this was solved, most of the work was to take a command from the desktop, from legacy from the 80s, and just translate it to PRD. So if we have rectangle, which is consisted of 1 point here, the opposite corner, just follow the flow and write PRD, and that was the main work, and I was a bit bored. I moved to Optimove. Optimove is a marketing tech company, and what we do is we allow big retailers and gaming companies to manage the retention efforts at a scale. So let's imagine you are a customer of Staples, and you are entitled for 4 different campaigns today. We don't want to bombard you with 4 different campaigns. Let's say your birthday, printers, back to school, and what's the next holiday? Easter. So what Optimove knows to do is to find the right message for each customer. This is something really hard to do at scale. Imagine operations like Staples, millions of customers. And the way we're trying to do it is, the way we're doing it is to optimize the lifetime value of each customer according to defined KPIs. We have a lot of data points we collect on each customer, and on its activity, demographics, and we run predictions models. You talked about science before. This is one pillar. The second pillar is native channels that we have. My main effort, or my flag project, was to change the paradigm behind the templates, how they work on, and all the editors of all the channels. We also required a vendor of mobile channels, so it was a big project. Now that this is solved, no, it's not really solved that. We moved from strategic phase to the more tactic of adding more capabilities and features, and we also changed the structure of our company to match the growth in R&D. So if before I was working on a lot of domain matters, now I'm focusing on the template because I had a good relationship with the product managers and the R&D. So I kind of feeling that this is the right phase for me to look for something else. Now, what I really like is data visualization, and I think this answers your question. I believe that good data visualization or dashboard or widget should lead to an action, not just to show the information, otherwise it's reporting.
Thank you.
Moreover, I like insight to be real insight and not just, we saw this pattern, do whatever you want. I think that great insight comes from cross of different data types. For example, if I'm analyzing my acquisition efforts, add another layer of platform like mobile versus desktop, and this is where I can find the interesting stuff. Last element I believe that I want to bring to the table is push versus pull. So the user know what he's looking for, and Pendo does great job in helping him find the answer for his questions. But what about questions he didn't know he should ask? I think this is the great job, especially in the era we are entering now, with the new science and Gen AI and big data and everything. A few words about myself, if I have time. Sorry, I saw you wanted to ask something.
Wait. I want to ask a question on those two things you just said, and I'll let you continue. Has anyone walked you through what our product is, like what we're building?
A bit. I admit it was 2 weeks ago, but during the 3 sessions I had before, it kind of came up. I'm not sure what Copilot exactly is.
Okay.
But between the lines, I understand that it's like Insight Center or something like, or Proactive Insight Center. No, I'm missing by my.
No, I'll tell you after you're done. Unless you're open to me telling you now. But it's precisely aligned to those two things that you just said.
Great. All right. So a few words about myself. I have FOMO, and I'm asking a lot of questions in order to bridge the gaps of my FOMO. Like, what is the business point of view? Why are we saying what we say? The business stack and the tech stack. Ask a ton of questions. Some of them are redundant, but I will still ask them. I believe that it makes everyone in the room to be more aware, and the level of the discussion is a bit, superior. Second thing is I'm very methodic and I write everything. It helps me to digest the thing, to analyze, and to share with people interesting stuff. Sometimes geeky stuff, but still. Okay.
I'm the same.
Done.
Well done. Here, I'm going to phrase up a question, and then from there, I promise I'll get to what Copilot is. So I won't do it right away, but just give me a minute. Let me speak to how Copilot started. Essentially, my boss, Nicole Mace, who was probably part of your presentation audience earlier, I'm not sure, she was essentially handed a mandate from our C-suite. And the mandate was, go and figure out an AI product. And the only thing she was given was one word, which was the word outcomes, English for results. That was it. So I was brought in by Nicole because that's a different story, but I was the leading internal expert on large language models at the time, so roughly a year and a half. And she tasked me with coming up with an end-to-end vision for what we could do and what Pendo should be, which is why I resonated with the 2 points that you mentioned around push versus pull and also insight versus action. That's almost prescient on your part. So what did I do? I took my experience from Twilio and being a cross-channel, CDP now, as well as all the work that I was doing to optimize our outbounding sales motion for Pendo with LLMs. And I looked at, in partnership with Laura Cruikshank, so I'm almost positive it was in your presentation, we analyzed all of the projects at Pendo that had started and then failed, never reached launch, right? Deprioritized, didn't find resonance with customers, whatever the reason. And we took those and we said, okay, what can we use from here? And then how can we bundle that with the capabilities that I was coming from for large language models? And what can we do to present new value to our customers? And ironically, the 2 points that you mentioned about Pendo were two of several core pillars of value that we were going after. So what did Laura and I do? We actually worked 10 hours a day, just like this on camera, I felt terrible for over a month. And we developed a low fidelity wireframe of that end-to-end vision. That vision, and coincidentally, happenstantially, I don't know, but it ended up resonating with every leader internally. And then I did a roadshow with 40 executives externally, and then recorded everything to see if it resonated there as well. And it did. So it was, again, fairly lucky. So that, without saying what Copilot does, which I promise I'll get to, that's how we started. And my question for you is, because you mentioned you're more so a researcher than a designer, or the true nature of a designer is a researcher, which I agree with, I'm not questioning that. In that story I just told you, we didn't necessarily have data. We had a lot of interpretations of Pendo's past, of its successes, its failures, and we chose to interpret that into a thesis or a series of hypotheses. Or not only about what Pendo should be, but also what was going to happen to our customer base in a world of democratized AI. Have you ever had to work in a project like that where you didn't necessarily have quantifiable data yet at the start, and then had to develop something to serve for quantifiable data after? That's what I'm curious about.
I'm not sure I fully understood it, but I will try to answer.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's my fault.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure. So you're actually asking, how do I manage myself in an arena of uncertainty? And how do I plan a project?
Precisely, yes. Thank you.
Great. I have a torch, and I go in the dark. No. There was a project that began similar to what you described. So in Optimove, we have target groups. We are running campaigns. Each campaign has a target group. And we store tons of data on each customer. But we saw that most of our clients does not use it. When they want to do a campaign, they kind of guesstimate the criteria for the target group, also how to target, and also the benchmark. Let's say days since last visit, 12, why 12? Something like this. And this project began with two direct instructions. First one, use AI, because the board wanted AI. And then the product the VP product, me, and the product manager sat in a room for brainstorm. Then we used the Amazon method. We began with the PR. And the PR was Optimove helps you to find the best target group for a campaign. Now, what's target group? What's the best? What's target group? How to do it? We were blind. First of all, we began with what we want to achieve around this high-level definition, and we came to 3 pillars. We want it to be insightful, to be actionable, and we wanted to allow discovery. So you will never get into a dead end. You can continue your journey in the data, and every time you will be able to drill down and learn something more, and once it's actionable, it's fine. We did kind of analyzed, okay, it's not accurate to say that you are in full blind or full dark. You always know stuff from other areas of the product. You know what failed, you know what competitor does, you know heuristics, and basically you come to a place that you know what you know and what you want to know. So you make a research plan of how to learn what you don't know. This is a place to be creative. And the best way is to understand what people do today, why it's not sufficient, what's not great about it, and find a digital metaphor or your own solution. In this case, we kind of created 2.5 concepts. We talked about, we came to a conclusion that we want to bet on one of them. It was like a decision tree that every time you can make and split, and it became more granular, and it offers you all the selection criteria and the value. So the first split, let's say I said 12 days from last visit, one group is above, second is below, and we can calculate the probability of the customers in this group to make a purchase. Then you can go one level deep, and again. And so we have a concept, and we start doing usability test with customers. We wanted to see that the product is usable and that they understand what we're hoping them that they will understand. And second part of each session was in-depth interview. Tell me about your habits. Tell me about how you work with it. And then we understood that we can. I don't know if it was luck or skill, but we understood that they're not looking for one best target group per campaign. They're looking for 5, 6, 7, and they're also lacking the offering. So if the probability to make a purchase is high, just nudge them with content. If it's low, nudge them with promotion or benefit. If you see that the benchmark that explain the difference between the two is, I don't know, the census days, census visit, encourage them to visit. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a profound offering. Just make them visit and it will cause improvements. Later on, we showed it to stakeholders. We got more confidence in the solution. We made a few tweaks to answer the usability issues. And we set success criteria, which was kind of hard to do it in the beginning because we didn't know what we were going to do. Basically, what we are measuring is how many target groups are created via this screen. And how they perform in campaigns.
Okay. Let me tell you about Copilot, given all that. You'll find resonance with what we're doing. And then I'll use it to ask one final question before giving you the rest of the time that we share together to ask me anything you want.
Yeah.
So what is Copilot? I'll skip Pendo's history since you already use it. You already know what it is. We will deploy business objective specific ML models. So retention, conversion, churn. And we'll analyze your utilization data on a per app basis based on the patterns unique to those objectives. And let's use conversion as an example. We'll say, hey, we found this correlation, this insight. This group of features, get anyone that buys, this is what they use before they buy. Therefore, get everyone else to buy it. So save that insight as a goal, as a key result. Within that key result, there is a broad segment. We call it a focus group. It's just like, let's say it's 10,000 people. These 10,000 people are likely to engage with this feature. Then when you're on your key result and you're measuring, we'll recommend campaigns. We'll say, okay, this 1,000 people out of your 10,000 want to engage with these 3 features. This 1,000 out of that 10,000 want to engage with these 2 features. And we'll automatically build conditional nurture campaigns. So the journeys for those users, did they engage, did they not, did they convert, did they not? And we'll use generative AI to write and to generate the whole thing. And you can edit all of it. And then when you launch a campaign, we'll have attribution. So we'll say, okay, these people engage with the messages, these people converted in the app. Therefore, Pendo deserves the credit and the praise for that change. And we'll use that attribution to say the impact on the key result. And we'll use the key result to have impact on your money, your dollars saved, your dollars earned, your dollars de-risked. And that's what we're building in one flow. So it's cross-channel marketing with generative AI, but it's proprietary ML with insights that move to action, not just a measurement. To one of your 2 pillars. That's what we're doing. So here's my question.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have a question?
Yeah, if you want. I have a question, but I'll wait. Go ahead.
No, it's kind of cool because one of the ideas for future investment of the feature I described you is like mark 5, 6, 10 target groups and then create campaigns for them like in a flow. And since Gen AI is argument of myself, it was kind of easy. Not easy, but it was like the direction to create a full campaign and not micro campaigns. But yeah.
Yes. So like if you have one goal for like, let's say for easy example, it's a page. And within that goal, you're tracking 10,000 people. Like I said, we will use our segment recommendation to drive to the smallest audience possible for the highest projected engagement. Mm-hmm. So you could be running 12, 15 AI-generated campaigns for that one page rather than one manually built campaign, that a team of humans had to do. That's the idea. And they'll all feed up.
So it sounds like Optimove gonna get competition.
Yeah, I guess so.
Basically what Optimove does.
Yeah. So here's my last question for you. We'll go a bit over, so you can have time to ask me anything. So my question is, new product, new experience, new combination of features that really doesn't have comparison directly with a competitor. We have competitors in each of the three areas that we foresee. We do rolling feedback with 40 alpha customers and design partners. We're constantly getting feedback on either things we're designing or things we just built and launched. And so in that environment, there is a tremendous amount of healthy disagreement. And it's wonderful because we consider each other friends and we care about each other's opinions deeply. And I mean that. So disagreement is great. How do you navigate disagreement? And how do you do it in a way knowing that it's with good intent, but you still have a strong position that you want to make sure it's heard and represented?
Mm-hmm. Wow. I disagree, but I will commit. First of all, of course, there are disagreements. We don't always agree about everything. And I must say that this question was raised in last 3 sessions. So everyone asked me about it. So maybe you do nourish the disagreement. There are few tactics and few strategies. First of all, it's all about communication. Second of all is to go back to the beginning of each project. Even before there is a project, I like to work with the product manager and attend in all the discovery sessions. I think both of us should. That's why in this way, we'll have better empathy to the users and understanding of the use case, needs, pains, etc. Now, this is kind of prerequisite. This is why I call them strategy. For each project, the way I prefer to work is on my framework, and it begins with the brief, where I understand the business reason for doing something. And this is the phase where I study the domain, I read all the articles, I try to understand from the product manager as much as I can. Next phase, and in good projects, it's me and the product manager working on together, is the discovery. So we want to understand the users, what they want to do, why they want to do it, what they need in order to do it, what pains they have, their behavior today, their attitude, everything until we have problem statement. Afterwards, we analyze, because we like to say problem, but there's never a problem. There are elements that need to be included in order for us to succeed. If I'm doing a bank, I need to have a balance, and I need to be able to save money, I don't know. Or to make actions. Every element to each thing. The next phase is exploration, and this is after I worked with the product managers for 2 reasons. 2 brains are better than 1, and also for alignment, which helps to the disagreement. I come and working on some on exploration. I'm looking for design patterns within the product and within competitors. And competitors does not necessarily need to be direct competitors. If I'm working on database that I need to map entities, I can look on a different product that allows me to upload Excel and mark the columns. It doesn't have to be from marketing tech in the case of Optimove. I'm just looking for design patterns. Then I'm kind of thinking about how the flow should be, and I come up with, no, I forgot. Most important thing, mostly for a question, I think that my role is not to come up with the best idea, is to lead the discussion of user experience. Each concept or design pattern is good for something. We want to compare it with the outcome we wanted to achieve from the beginning. This is why I want to invest in the alignment with the product manager. When I'm doing best, I come up with 2-3 concepts, like in the example of the target group discovery. Oops. Yeah, it was by accident. Nice. Fireworks? Confetti. All right. Anyway, I lost concentration.
No, it's okay.
I came up with 2 to 3 concepts. There was a reason why we chose one, because we knew what will answer best our needs. We can still leave room for error margin, because It's rare that you got everything nailed on the first try. But still, I come up with a few solutions, I explain the pros and cons, we think about them together, we decide on something together. Sometimes my opinion is not being accepted, it's fine. I can think about case in Autodesk, like the interaction model that the screen is a huge trackpad. It wasn't the concept that I wanted, it's something the developer wanted. I did understood why it's good, and now it can solve the user needs, and we did like a comparison in usability test, and according to quantitative metrics like error rate and completeness rate, we decided. Actually, in this case, it was tie, but the NPS was better for the solutions chose. And I was fine with it. And once I disagree and commit, I started watching on the videos of the usability test and figured out what I need to do in order to make it better. And what I saw, and the reason I didn't like this in the beginning was that user kind of guessed what to do. The learning curve was very steep. So I added the feedbacks, as you can see in my case study, and this is, you know, how I navigated the disagreement. A case on the project now is WhatsApp editor, and WhatsApp is a conversation consisted out of messages. The user can reply and receive another message accordingly. I didn't fully agree with the product manager. I said that we don't know enough how marketing professional will use it. I suggested to do MVP and learn afterwards. After some interviews and examples we saw from different markets, we decided to go for the conversational. Then there was a requirement to utilize messages across many conversations. And I said, great, so we need another screen which will increase the effort. He said, no, we can do it without, just they will search the name. Then I kind of did task analysis and showed him why it's not that great or what will be the pain or the experience for the customer. I think that once the discussion is fair and you have room to express your opinions, it's natural that you won't convince every time, but I think it's fine and it's healthy, as you said. Sometimes I'm convincing others, sometimes I'm being convinced. Sometimes we go back to the drawing table and come up with something better.
Thank you for your thoughtful answers. I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening to me as well. I want to maybe
I was
10 minutes isn't too much. No, before that. Thank you for listening to me when it was my turn. I'll give you till quarter after the hour if you want to ask me questions. And as I mentioned at the start, questions about me, my role, the product, the company, and our culture as a team that exists not only across continents, but across 10 hours worth of time zones.
Actually, I'm most interested in how items find themselves on the roadmap and how you prioritize them, taking into consideration the nature of the Copilot project, which is guesstimating, let's say.
So yeah, in terms of the overall roadmap, like the grand roadmap, it was a result of that vision that I described, that end-to-end lo-fi flow that I built with Laura Cruikshanks, that we worked to validate at a high level. Was there resonance with executive buyers in the market? From there, though, what happened was we chose to actually build a steel thread across the entire flow. So we weren't doing one feature, one pillar, and then another pillar, and then another pillar. We decided to build 5% of everything, 5% of everything, 5% of everything, and to do it in 2-month milestones. So that way, before we began engineering a milestone, we worked on designs. And then we used our design partners to validate and to critique those designs before passing it to build. And then by the time milestone 2 came around, we had hi-fi designs for that next cycle already done, validated, and then redesigned based on that feedback. And then when that was pushed off to engineering, we then revisited with our design partners the work we just built and incorporated that into the next 2 months as well. And so that has fundamentally changed many, many, many details of the roadmap, but the fundamental architecture has actually remained the same. And by that, I mean the highest level flow, which is we go from a recommendation on an insight to a key result to a cross-channel campaign, which measures attribution, which then ties back to financials. That's the steel thread of value that has not changed. But many, many, many other things, because of that loop, certainly has.
Nice. Nice.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
of
exhausting,
course.
to be honest.
Our VP product call is it art or science to determine about prioritization. 'Cause,
Mm.
I'm also interested in the relationship and collaboration between product managers and designers. It's kind also in this project and also in company culture.
I don't know if I can speak to company culture so
No.
much, even though it's a totally fair question, just because this is actually the first project I've worked on as a product manager in Pendo. So I can speak to what it's like for us.
Yeah.
For me, everything starts with myself and with Laura Bushanks. And it's been that way for 8 or 9 months. And so we go through many, many, many validations together. And as far as I'm concerned, she's one half of my mind. So that's how I consider it. And then we together, she and I, present a draft version to engineering, to our leaders like REA and to Run On, who are probably part of your presentation as well. And we ask for their advice and for their feedback. And they find the gaps and the edges right away. And then we go back and make those changes. And only then do we present it to our researcher, a gentleman by the name of Johnny, who then goes and kicks off that looping process I just described. So that's what it's like.
Nice. Small technical question, and then I will go to my real next question. Wireframes or design high level, is it you? Is it Laura? Is it both of you? How it goes?
Good question. So what I do is where I start and stop before working with Laura is I create an amalgam of problems that I personally believe can be solved in one solution, even though they may at first seem very disconnected. So I describe those pains, I describe those problems, I describe the values that contain within them, and I create like a map for her within that. And I say, here are the problems that I think we can solve in one experience, but I don't say what that experience should be. So then she starts testing me and grilling me on all of the aspects of the problems. And then that gives me a chance to validate all the preparation and research that I did for her. And from there, something begins to form. And then she does those wireframes in a tool called Whimsical.
Yeah.
And those are what we present to allow for fast iteration, for internal feedback. And then also, that's the first step we deliver to our design partners, are those wireframes before moving into Figma for Hi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. Nice, because my biggest fear is just to color someone else's wireframes.
Oh, no.
Amazing.
Yeah, I understand.
My real next question, or important one, was how do you learn what you know about users, about the product? What is your research stack, let's call it? And I do know that you have a dedicated researcher.
Yes.
But
So he's pillar one. Yes, and so he does roughly 20 to 25 hours of personal interviews a week for the project. Yeah, a lot. On top of that, he also deploys anywhere from 2 to 4 user testing tests per week that we deploy. 2 to 4 per sprint, not per week. So we're getting that quantifiable feedback from customers of user testing that don't know it's us and that don't know our product. So we're getting that perspective versus the more handheld one-on-one interview approach that Johnny does. And then lastly, we're actually just now, because we started developing in late September, we're just now ready to launch all of Pendo's tools on our pages. We're preparing for an actual beta. And so in that, of course, we'll have all of our analytics. We'll also have session replay, which is a new add-on SKU for Pendo, right? We'll be able to watch all of our users.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
And then we'll be getting, sorry?
I'm familiar with the replay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And then lastly, we're deploying our newest product, which is GAing in May, called Discover. And so all of our feedback will be flowing from our pages directly to our space in Discover. So it's all of that together. And that last pillar is we've been preparing to launch. We haven't launched it yet.
It's a bit about the future. Do you intend to do contextual inquiry for when the tool will be released or at any other phase?
Can you define contextual inquiry for me?
Observations, like how they really work in their own context.
We do that now. Yeah, the phrase that Johnny uses is generative research. So as an example, like that, if there's 3 pillars of the product, recommendations, campaigns, key results, before we designed or did anything for Key to Results, Johnny took 6 weeks and did generative research with enterprise and commercial level customers on how they set, monitor, and attempt to enforce goals in their organization. And so that we did that before we designed anything.
Nice. Very, very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Thank you. What else? And no pressure too. If you've got no more, we're over. So yeah, I can go as longer or stop now. Up to you.
I think I'm good. I
Okay.
asked the questions I'm interested in. Yeah. The last one.
Very nice to meet you.
What's Lunk on your head?
Oh, I live in the eastern United States in the state of Pennsylvania, and this is the county of Lancaster, which is
I'm familiar with
it's entirely. Oh yeah, have you heard of it? Like Amish people.
I worked with the product manager. He worked in Optimum for only 2 weeks. Matthew Wollner, and he worked for Lumen. Is there an email provider?
I'm not from here. I moved here relatively recently, so I'll have to look that up. But yeah, so I'm surrounded by 1,000 square miles of Amish farms, no electricity, no machinery. It's as if you go into the past. It's pretty lovely.
Nice.
Very different from large language model work.
All right. So if I will visit you, I will shave before, so no one will confuse me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, very nice to meet you. I wish you a great rest of your evening. Hopefully you have a chance to relax after this.
You too. Thank you, Sam. Nice meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good day.